trying to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for watching today on Veterans Day. Here at Everything Sparkle, we support our troops and our veterans, and we are so excited that you're watching. Over the past 3 years, we have had some great guests that have shared their stories. We have had Sherry's Arc, among others, and we want to say Happy Veterans Day to you. Thank you for coming on Everything Sparkle today. I'm so glad to have you here because you guys have a unique model. You guys are a restaurant, but then kind of a nightclub. Tell us about it.
Well, I became partners with Alex, and I really like the feel of downtown Fresno.
How'd you guys meet?
Actually, it was funny. You know, on Sunday nights is cruising on Fulton. So I
love that story.
And it's true. And so I saw this new place, and I was like, I'm going to go check it out. However, it was really brand new, and it was really bright, and it was really just, it needed life in there. And so he was telling me about his struggles and that he was looking for a partner. And I told him, well, give me a year and let me see what I can do to turn it around. And within a year, we've grown a lot. He runs the kitchen. I kind of run the nightlife, the entertainment, the bartenders, the whole night scene, any events. I kind of push them out there. And the reason I like doing it is because I'm really in love with downtown Fresno. I really am.
But you're really successful at it. I mean, all of a sudden I started seeing on my phone all these ads pop up for you guys. I saw my friends were going there and hanging out. And like, it was popping. Every time it was like a popping nightclub. And it was like you came out of nowhere and then you were just popping.
Well, the reason was I reached out to everybody in all crowds. I like diversity, so I didn't want to be stuck labeled as just one thing. And for me, the most important thing was to get the name known. I kept telling my partner, and he didn't understand, and he's looking at numbers, numbers, numbers. And I said, let's forget about numbers right now, and let's push on just getting our name known. Get involved with the community, get involved with diversities, different crowds, different scenes, whether it's hip hop, whether it's R&B, heavy metal, comedy shows, whatever you have it, let's bring it out there, because what happens is people tend to go out, we like to eat good food and have a cold, good drink. And why else? Well, let's have an entertainment. We have a stage here. Let's work with what we have.
And it's so beautiful. You guys have a lot of great art there. How long have you been in there? How long have you guys been there?
3 years.
That is insane how successful you guys are for that short of amount of time. And during COVID and everything, you guys survived?
Roughly survived, but we survived it.
Wow.
And I think a lot of it helped that we had a lot of food to go, and thankful for, like, even though people worked from home, I did have health department next to me, and I have IRS behind me. So I have a lot of people with the foods to go. You know, we did the drive-by, pack the food and go, and then the cocktails were to go. They said we were able to do that since that became a thing. And then that's when I started thinking outside the box. I don't know if you went to our patio scene. You can go in the patio, and then I just kind of was thinking, well, hey, before it was just our parking lot. It was our parking lot, and I was like, well, this is our patio. They said we can do something. So it is now our patio. And so
oh my God.
I kind of converted that, and I changed it over. And I don't know if you went to the back to see the murals in the back.
I did. I saw the whole, yeah, we took our little selfies, and we're like, this is so awesome. Went for Halloween. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started, with the murals in the back. We had the COVID one come. Since we're doing something political, we were allowed to have people come through, and I just kept thinking of things we can get away with to keep going.
You are smart. That's a great collab that you and your partner.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved the mural that we did, because we did relate it to COVID. If you've seen in the mural,
Beautiful.
It was the George Floyd, and it was the Gabriel Fernandez, and then we had the first responder nurse. So that kind of like where we kind of started building more and more. After that, since downtown Fresno, where we're located, is considered the mural district, I kept doing the murals.
And I just love all the artwork. I mean, who came up with all of that? And it's so pretty than that little back area. It's so
artsy.
It's beautiful, but who designed all of that?
I did that. Honestly, I decorated everything, and I did it on a budget. So I am loving yard sales, and I just kind of wanted it to keep a downtown feel, like a vintage type feel, since I didn't want to modernize it. I wanted to keep it.
I think that was smart. That was a very good call.
And I did love art. The reason why I brought in the art was because we do the art hops, and I wanted to contribute to the community, saying, hey, look at, you guys help me out by making my business alive, like coming in, and I want to help you guys out in return. So what I did is, like, you bring in your art, and I always push for local artists to bring in their art, whether it's your talent in music, whether it's your talent in art, whatever talent you got, bring it. And let's work together, because people will enjoy that. The people will bring people. And I just kind of just spreaded it around that way. It's just, bring them all in.
Wow. And okay, I've heard a rumor about how you guys started, that your partner makes kebabs, but I'm Armenian, so we know how to make kebabs. He's Hispanic, but he knows how to make the best kebabs. So that was like the rumor. Where did he get started on that? Like, where did he think, oh, I'm going to be good at this and I'm going to make this a business?
Oh, yeah. So when he first came over, he worked in a Mediterranean restaurant.
Okay.
And so,
yeah,
and he started out as a dishwasher. And so he worked there for so long, and they actually taught him how to cook the food. And he ended up picking it up so good, and he actually does really make it. He doesn't even know how to make the Mexican food. He makes the Armenian food. And the funny thing is that if you met him and seen him, everybody thinks that, oh, he's Armenian. He's Armenian. He looks like it, and they're like, hey, no, he's Hispanic. He's from Durango, and he just picked up the food greatly, and it is really good, and I will let you come in and taste that.
Yes, we are going to, and thanks for, we'll tell audience, you had a flat tire on the way here, which is crazy. I had one last Tuesday, so I feel you, girl. So I know the food couldn't come today, but I'm taking you up on that.
Yes.
I gotta try these kebabs, because that's just amazing.
Kebabs and the fattoush salads are our most famous, so come in and check that out.
And so it's just, I'm from LA. I mean, I lived in LA for 15 years, and this is really normal to have restaurants that turn to nightclubs, but here, we don't have a lot of that. That's why I'm like, you're brilliant, because, I mean, Fresno's losing a lot. We have a little bit of that, but it's really hard to be successful at both. Usually you're just known for the nightclub, and they're like, oh, you guys have food, or you're known for the food part, and you're like, oh, you guys have entertainment. So tell us a little bit more about how you're successful at that.
When you go to San Francisco downtown, you ever get the feel where you have those little tiny restaurants, and they are like, at night they turn to something different, and they're all these little hole in the wall spots. And I have this big dream for downtown Fresno being that kind of space, and I know that everybody's trying to push to bring life back to downtown, and I see these beer breweries coming down the street, and I'm like, okay, if we get more people along the way to come in and do this is the hope and dream that I have, that downtown Fresno will come. And so that's the feel I wanted to give. When we go out, I know when I go out, I want to eat good food. I don't want to eat just, nibblers, even though we do offer appetizers for that bar food, but I want to offer like a full meal at all hours. So I do run the kitchen until we close. So if you want to eat your kebab plate at midnight, we're going to get you that midnight kebab plate.
Really? Because it wasn't there when I was there. I was there at 11.
You were there for a birthday party.
No, I was there for, it was a Halloween party the Saturday before.
Oh, because they said it was
11.
Yeah, we're open there. So
for the food? Maybe they just want us or not.
Yeah, no, you should have been there.
So it's open till 12 every?
Yeah.
Or just for the nightclub part?
No, we run our kitchen at all hours.
So it's open now?
Yeah. Well, right now you said we reopen. So we have a gap that we close, and then we reopen again. So if I have an event that's booked, normally my hours are Monday through Friday from 10 in the morning till 3.
Okay, so we have the lunchtime rush, and
then I close down. I do, because we do it all ourselves.
I understand.
We do it all ourselves.
So then the reopening time is?
And we reopen at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll reopen again, and then.
So you're kind of closed for that early dinner time. It's that late dinner.
Yeah, that's why I push the late dinner. And people love the fact that I have a late dinner.
Yeah, because people don't. So that's especially downtown.
Yeah, you get out of work, or you go home, get dressed, change, or whatever. You can come back and eat that food that you know you want instead of just going through a drive-through because we're limited. And that's another reason that held us on during COVID is because we offered that late night dinner, you know, where
that is really, I love everything that you're saying right now. That is what we needed.
yeah. I'm glad you like it.
Okay, so you said that Monday through Friday. Okay, so what's the deal on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays?
Saturdays, however, we don't open till the evening. We don't have the morning, but we open till the evening. And then Sundays, we open around noon, and then we'll stay open pretty much all day till like maybe 10, 11 o'clock. And the reason why it's iffy on the Sundays is people like to go home, get ready for their Monday work. And so, however, if it's an event, if it's a holiday the next day, people want to be out, and I'll keep it open until just nobody's walking in the door anymore.
Well, I remember I was very hungry in Tower, and there was no place open on a Sunday night. I got done with a photo shoot, and we were like really hungry at like 10 on Tower, and there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So we were just like, if we got a little further and went to you, then we'd be fine.
Yeah,
so
we're there. It's a small place, but
people
we're there.
need to eat. So.
Yes, and you want to eat at late hours when you're hungry. We're working people. By the time we get out, we don't have time to eat anymore, at least a good meal. I know I'm guilty of constantly going fast food because there's nothing there anymore opening at late besides Denny's. And even during COVID, Denny's was closed down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, that's what kind of helped us survive everything.
Okay, so can we rent out parts of the room? Because you have like almost like 3 different rooms almost when I saw the layout. Do you rent out like some of those spots for like, and you do like, I could see you doing a little bridal shower in that nice little room with the paintings and everything.
Yeah.
Could you rent out by the room?
Rent out, yeah, people call me constantly for their birthday parties, bridal showers, baby showers, bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, whatever. I've had it all there, believe me, they've named it, and I throw it usually, I ask them where they want it, because I do get people want just the patio, or I want people, they just want the newer side where you see it's more, a little bit more modern with that dark look. Yeah. So whatever they want it, I kind of do that. And since I'm a small business owner, I kind of cater to your birthday. So I try to tell them, look, you can go to somewhere else and you're going to pay like $200-300 for a bottle, and that's all you're going to get. For me, if you come to me and you tell me it's your birthday, I'm going to tell you what colors do you like, and I'm going to
make sure that they get it catered to them. Well, I might do my birthday there. That sounds like a fun. That sounds like a fun avenue.
Trying to make it special for you. I'll decorate for you.
I really did like that, and I like that we have a feel of something different. I mean, because I like that we have a trendy, like you said, it is a family place or whatever. It's like a small business owner, but you have that. Like we're in the city, and that's what we needed. That's what we need downtown. That's what Fresno needed, more of that, and I'm really glad that you guys brought it, and that's really awesome. So we need to come support you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so everybody go to La Mesa. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
How'd you guys get the title of that anyway?
Actually, he got the title from when he worked at the restaurant, and the guy that he worked for said that he was going to open up a restaurant or something like that in that name, and he never got an opportunity to do it. So when he went into construction, saved his money, and they said, you know what, I'm going to invest my money, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go for it. And he did. And I just happened to collide with him during the time that he was building, and we are making it work to this together now.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's really cool. So I like it, you know, because it sounds a little bit like French, like La Mesa, and then it's like when you go there, it has that city feel. So
yeah,
I just love the whole vibe. I think this is great.
Thank you.
Support your local businesses. Go to La Mesa Kebab.
Thank you.
Kebabs in town, guys. Welcome to Everything Sparkle. Today is Veterans Day, and what better person to have than you here?
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be on the show. You know, I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited about it's about the veterans.
I need to know everything. I need to know how you started, because speaking of like doing what you love, this is pretty much what you do. You made a career out of something that you love.
Right.
When did this all start?
Well, it started like in 2008. One of my buddies here from Fresno, his name is Gabe Martin, and he's like, hey, we need to open up a martial arts gym in town. So I'm like, yeah, I'm all for it. You know, out of shape wrestler. I'm like, yeah, let's do something, you know, just getting out of the Army. So we ended up opening up Fresno Kickboxing Academy in Clovis. So we opened that up, and the rest was history. And then after that, I started doing Jiu-Jitsu in 2009. And I very much fell in love with
That's
Jiu-Jitsu.
all? You've only been doing it since 2009 and you're this good?
Well, Jiu-Jitsu, yeah, I've done a lot. I kind of grabbed the bull by the horns and I went haywire.
That's really cool.
You know, I was in the Army, you know, I have a, you know, I got a tough pedigree, you know, expert infantryman and, you know, hardcore infantry.
You knew the discipline. You got that from the Army, so that was good. That wasn't.
Yeah. So I like the discipline aspect of things. You know, you got to discipline yourself. If you're going to go after it, go after it. In the beginning, I wanted to just be an MMA fighter. I did fight MMA. I only fought once in the cage. I want to know, but I had a good time.
So what was the deal? So when you decided, hey, MMA is not my thing, Jiu-Jitsu is, what's the difference? Explain that.
Well, the difference is mixed martial arts. MMA is where you got striking, you got wrestling, Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, you know, striking, etc. Right? Just everything, everything goes. In Jiu-Jitsu, it's ground fighting. I grew up wrestling, and I like being on the mat. So when I tried it, it was just so hard, and that's why I wanted to do it. It was just so technical. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm getting tapped out by a guy that looks like he's reading a book in a library, never been in a fight in his life. Not saying that, you know, you got to look a certain way to be a martial artist and never judge a book by its cover, but that really, you know, woke me up and crushed my ego, and I needed that.
That's really cool. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's so true. You know, everybody has to check their ego because, you know, a lot of people, some people are even afraid to do Jiu-Jitsu because it might just hurt their ego. They're not going to be the cool prom king no more. Or, you know what I mean? They're not the cool guy anymore if they get tapped out. Some people's egos are just so big and they need to be brought down to size. And I think Jiu-Jitsu makes everything just a playing field level, and that's just great. You know?
Okay, so explain Jiu-Jitsu. How is it different than karate? Yeah.
Okay, karate is stand-up, you know, striking and kicks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu is ground fighting, where I call it a hybrid ground fighter because you got wrestling in it for takedowns, you got submissions on the ground, you got submission grappling, you got Greco-Roman wrestling, you got Sambo, everything that has to do with the ground you got, and throws and judo, etc. So it's like you got to have the complete package. You got to have takedowns, you got to be able to submit somebody when you're on the bottom,
right?
And you got to be able to defend those submissions. So it's a push and pull. So just because you're on top of somebody and you're being aggressive like a wrestler, I say wrestling is a very tough pedigree, which my whole family wrestled, and you had to wrestle in our family, else you would get in trouble. Like we'd get in trouble.
I love this.
Yeah. So we had to wrestle, right? So
wrestle for dinner.
Yeah, wrestle for dinner, move the coffee table.
Who's gonna be first?
Yeah, all the cousins in the living room, moving the coffee tables, wrestling, bumping each other up, etc. So I've always grew up on the mat, and it's just Jiu-Jitsu is like, you just can't be a bully. Like a wrestler's a bully, so you just can't go in there and bully somebody because they're waiting for you with submissions. They got technique, and they're gonna catch you on something. You know, because wrestlers, we like to attack the head.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, we're always trying to attack the computer. I call the head the computer. We're always trying to attack that head, locks, whatever, right? And there's all that in Jiu-Jitsu. It's just, you just can't jump on somebody if they have their guard wrapped around you. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah, so if they have a guard wrapped around you and you're reaching for the head, you're going to get caught in chokes, you're going to get caught in arm locks when your arm's here. You know, you're just going to get caught up in all kinds of stuff. So you got to learn how to back away from all that. So a wrestler, he becomes a lot more disciplined on the ground when he starts Jiu-Jitsu. His attitude changes. He's not all of a sudden just too cocky. He's more like brought down to size, and that's what I like. That's what happened to me and all my cousins that do Jiu-Jitsu. So we're like humble now. We've been choked a million times. It's okay. You're not going to die. You just got choked. Just tap out. It's all right. You know, so it's one of those situations.
So where did you learn this? You said you've been doing this since 2009. Where did you go to learn Jiu-Jitsu?
Okay, so that's a good question. I have a professor. His name is Speedy, Luis Speedy Gonzalez.
I love it.
Yeah, once upon a time. Tattoo right here.
Nice.
I'm loyal to my professors. He walked into our gym, and I'm like, this guy, he looks like an Olympian. He looks like something special. I don't know what it is about him, but he had this solid energy. And so you know, we needed a jiu-jitsu instructor at the time, a gi jiu-jitsu instructor. You know, we had a no-gi instructor, Jason Von Flew. What's up, Jason? Shout out to you. And so then we had a gi jiu-jitsu professor, which is, Speedy is Tingia's first black belt.
Okay.
Okay, so Tingia, Mauricio Tingia, that's his system. He's the first Brazilian to bring the Gracie Barra system in California and Japan, and Speedy was his first black belt in America. So he came to our school and started teaching, and I had an injury at the time. I had like a shoulder surgery, and it didn't pan out right, so I had to get it redone. And as soon as I got it corrected, then I said, I'm stepping on the mat. I had like 8 months ago, I did it just to compete. So
my gosh.
So I went to Dr. Simonian, and I owe him the world. Shout out to Dr. Simonian. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on 160 tournaments in 12 years and average one tournament a month. I don't know if too many people know that, but all my students know that.
So you started competing right away?
I started competing. I jumped on the mat for jiu-jitsu October 09.
So you were good right away when you started, almost, because that's your competition level.
Well, I was a good wrestler, okay? But my jiu-jitsu was horrible, because when you're a white belt, you're just like horrible. You're learning, but you're still battling. So like you're in the level of everybody's strong, whether it's a professional baseball player, football player, wrestler. You guys are just all tough, but then you really don't know the moves, so you're using a lot of muscle. So I was one of those guys in the beginning, but I was muscle.
It was all muscle, no technique yet.
Yeah, so like when I'd get off the mat, I was just gassed. My forearms were gassed. I'm like, I need to learn how to control this. Right? So my first competition was actually in Fresno, Grappling X, in March 2010. I took first in the no-gi because it was like wrestling, but then when I got in the gi, I got tapped out by the same guy twice, and I'm like, how is he getting me? So the light turned on, and I'm like, wow, I need to stay in this because I'm learning a lot, and I know I want to be that good one day. So I never stopped competing. I just competed every month. You know, I competed in the World Championships more than like 15 times in my career. You know, I compete all over the world now. So it started like that, and then I just kept going, and before you know it, you know, when I got my black belt, like after tournament 70, then I started going overseas and competing. In the Europeans, I competed in the Europeans 4 years in a row, Lisbon, Portugal, from 2017 to 2020, right before the pandemic. Thank God I did a good tournament before it started, because they closed the world down, you know. But I did that. I've been to Israel. I competed in Israel. You know, I made history there, actually. I was the first foreigner to sign up for the tournament.
Really?
So, yeah, so it was beautiful just to go to the Holy Land, you know, and compete. I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so jiu-jitsu has taken me around the world. Shout out to the Soul Fighters of Israel, Amir Baron and his team. They're great people. They showed me a lot of love over there, and I got a lot of respect for those guys.
So how do you get all this? You have like an agent that gets you these gigs of where you go and compete? Okay.
Jiu-jitsu has a league called the IBJJF, and it's like one of the, actually the biggest league in the world, and so is the sports jiu-jitsu league as well. And that league is all over the world, all over Europe, all over America. Like, I'm competing in the Master World Championships this weekend. Yeah, in Vegas, okay? So it's in Vegas, I mean, you know, Louisiana, Florida, New York, all the major cities the tournaments go to. Lisbon, Portugal, Israel, Rome, Italy, Australia, you name it. So it's a world league. So I targeted these tournaments myself on the, you know, tournament list, and I just go. So actually, I live in hotels. I live in rental cars. I mean, you know, I come home and I teach my students, and I come back, hang out with them, you know, make sure everything's going good at the gym. We got over 17 instructors at Halo. So it's just,
wow.
Yeah, it's wild. I got
okay, so how did you get started there? Because you learned all that. When did you say, hey, we need to make this spot, we need to make it big? Would you just as soon as take over Fresno? Because I think when you were doing it, it wasn't as big here.
Well, there was jiu-jitsu always here before me.
Yeah, but it was like, now it's like taking, like you said, you have 17 instructors at a location.
Yes, so we had like, you know, there's always been schools around, and then, you know, like 10 years before I even started jiu-jitsu. So when I came in the game, I just fell in love with it, and I just ran with it, and I just competed. I didn't really talk too much to people. I just, all competition. I never stopped. I mean, I've done like 8 tournaments in 2 months, like stuff like that, like every week. I just do not stop. I fight different weight classes in jiu-jitsu from 143 when I first started out all the way up to like 220. I enter
Wow,
divisions
that's
like
huge.
I know, but
That's
I'm smaller, but I enter divisions like that sometimes to challenge myself, and sometimes I win, and of course I come up short sometimes as well, because in jiu-jitsu we never lose, we always learn. So it's always just trying to.
That's a good lesson in life.
Yeah. So I just fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I'm totally addicted to it, and it's very good for me, and it's done wonders for myself, and it does so much for my students and people, not only me, but around the world. I got friends all around the world, and we all share the same passion for jiu-jitsu. I've been to Japan 5 times competing, Asian International, Master of Asia, Tokyo International. I compete in all these tournaments, and I just love life, and I love competing, and I love jiu-jitsu.
So where did Halo get born? When did that happen?
Yeah, so Halo was born when, me and my partner, he's like, you know what, I'm going to go on ahead, and he has some different business ventures, and I ended up staying with the gym. So I'm like, and I'm doing jiu-jitsu, and when I fought in the cage, my partner actually nicknamed me the California Condor. That was like my nickname, and I had a little funny name, whatever, right? And then my other student, Sean Fabitz, which I like to give credit to everybody that, changes, gives me a name or something, right? I give everyone the credit they deserve. And he said, your name should be Halo because you're Angel. And I'm like, well, it gives a...
I was wondering because it's like Angel, Halo. Like I was thinking that too. I was wondering if there was a so I wasn't off base.
Yeah, you weren't. Yeah, you kind of got it right. So it's like, but the energy is like it was more positive, and I was trying to get that positive ring, And I'm like, Halo seems more bright. I'm gonna stick to that. So to make a long story short, I'm like, you know what? Let's just change the name, the gym, to Halo. So
smart.
Yeah, so now it's bigger than me. This is me. That's my nickname, right? And I even got it tatted on the back of my neck. And you see the wings?
Yeah.
The wings represent my students. That's what it is. It's bigger than me now. It's not, it's not about me no more. I mean, yes, that's my little nickname, whatever. I'm just Angel, Halo, who cares? But my students, it's about them, and I got a lot of love for them. Shout out to my students. I love you guys, and without you, I wouldn't be nobody. So stuff like that,
So female jiu-jitsu, are there a lot of competitors for female jiu-jitsu or not really?
Oh my God, yes. Actually, we had one of the top females in the world. I had her down here, Claudia Duval, and she's amazing. She's ranked #1 in the world. She's from Brazil, and she actually came to Halo, did a seminar.
Did you guys compete each other? Did you guys do a little off,
Actually, we rolled so we got a show that comes to Fresno called Fight to Win Pro. Shout out to Seth Daniels. I love you guys. Team No Sleep. They're the biggest promotion in America for professional jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So, one day I'm all, you need to bring it to Fresno because, I got a lot of students. There's so many schools around here, and, we'll blow it up. So when he brought it to Fresno, we sold that place out. We had the top crowd in California and the top 5 in the country. He was he was shocked about Fresno. So I'm glad that we did something positive in Fresno, Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. So when you get somebody like me who's never done jiu-jitsu in their life, what would you do with somebody like me?
Well,
I'm strong, I have a fitness background. What would I be in your beginner class? And what would we do?
You would be in the beginner class,
Okay.
and I know I don't have to tell you how to eat because you probably eat a lot better than me. I can tell. But so you know how to do that. You know how to take care of yourself already. So all I would do is put you in the beginner class, and let's learn with everybody. Everybody's cool there. There's no egos. You'll get a lot of good feedback. Everyone's going to help you. Everyone's going to help the beginner. It's not what you think. You walk into the gym, you see an octagon, people fighting and all that. But when you come to the mat, people are going to be like, hi, how are you? Are you new? Let me help you out. That's what it's about. It's about helping people. And, I made sure that I kept the energy like that at our gym because I don't like negative energy. It's just horrible. Let's just stay positive. So you'd go in the beginner's class and you'd do great. You got to try it.
I want to. So with karate, there's a lot of in there, it's about, only use it if you have to. They teach you a lot of psychology besides just the physical. Is jiu-jitsu kind of like that, where you learn you're not really supposed to take it on the street, or you learn what you can do, what you can't do? Tell us a little bit of how it correlates to that.
Well, I don't want my students going out and bullying people because, jiu-jitsu, you get very confident when you learn what you can really do. I got a lot of people that, I work out at GB3. Shout out to GB3. I love you guys. I got a lot of friends there. And, I tell my buddies that do, they work out, they're yoked up, they're all buffed out. I'm all, come do jiu-jitsu. And they come in and they're like, Angel, that guy tapped me, man. He's a little old dude, but he caught me in a move. I'm all, yeah, because he just knows technique.
Right.
I'm all, your arm's big, but his leg's stronger than your arm, so he knows how to tap you and get you in moves and manipulate that. So it's not about the size and all that. It's about technique. Somebody with no muscle tone could tap somebody that's all
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes they're slower anyway.
Yeah. So you don't ever want to judge a book by its cover. It's just Jiu-Jitsu is so effective, and I love it so much. I mean, it's amazing.
So is there anything you could teach me today that I could take somebody down? I'm getting ahead of myself already. You're not going to teach me how to...
Well, I could show you how to take somebody down. You know what I mean? Or I can show you an
ready.
I can show you an arm bar. You want me to show you an arm bar?
Sure.
Okay, because a lot of times fights open up, start on the ground. Like, they'll tackle you and take you down. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So if you ended up on the ground and you took me down and I landed like this, I'm going to wrap you up.
Okay.
Now you think that you're like safe, right?
Yes.
So you're gonna reach up to my head and try and choke me or whatever, right?
Okay.
So
both arms or one arm?
Whatever. So so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attack this arm right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach right above your elbow here and control this. I'm gonna put my foot on your hip. I'm gonna bring your shoulder down.
I get it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna take you down. And I'm gonna arm bar you right here.
Okay, so I can't move.
Yeah, so you can't move, and I'm gonna keep hip scooting in, and I'm gonna arm bar you right here.
I still have this arm like available. So
but I could break it though. Look, I'm gonna break it. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
What about this arm?
There's a wrist lock.
Okay, what about this one?
Then if you were there, then I could get up here, and then I could get you in the S mount. Sorry. In here. See? And I could smash you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, and this
And
arm,
it is really hard to
I
move.
could break
Okay,
this.
but what about my leg right now? I can kick you in the head.
It don't matter. I'm heavy here. I'm not worried about your legs. I'm going to take your arm and snap this one. I'm going to get a wrist lock here. You get you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like it.
Or is that where the moves come in hand? There's no way for me to get up in an arm bar is what you're saying, really?
I mean, there's a way to get up, but if you got a guy like me that has serious pressure and knows exactly what he's doing, I'm going to keep you there until you're
But what about when you get in that position? There's a way that you counteract that, right?
Yeah, you can counteract that as well, too. You got to bring your elbow to the mat and get out. And
so so your whole thing that you would probably teach me is not to get in that position. Is that my main goal?
Yeah, so
because I'm kind of screwed once I'm in that position.
Yeah, so I don't want you to get in there. I want you to hip escape like a shrimp is like this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah.
weasel my way out of there.
Yeah, so if I was on top of you on side control, you could shrimp and get your guard back, and then you could get me in an armbar.
Ooh.
You see that? So watch, get on side control on the bottom, please.
Okay, so I'm going to just lay down? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm on here, right? And this is side control, and I'm here. So I want you to push here. Now kick your hips out. Yes.
Okay.
Now bring your legs in and wrap them around me. Yeah,
like
now
this?
lock me up.
Lock me up. Lock it?
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, now you got an arm bar right here. Now hold my arm here. Have this elbow here. Now turn this way. Yeah, and bring this leg up my back. Relax. Now throw this over my head. Over.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, no, this way.
This way?
No. Keep my arm. Don't let go.
Okay.
Like this. No, like this.
Oh.
Now hold my arm. Now arch your hips and tap. Tap.
Okay.
Okay, see, so you could break my arm.
Okay.
But
that's awesome.
But I can tell you could learn it, and if I teach you the technique, you'd be good at it because I could tell you're strong, you're athletic. So all you have to do is come in and drill, and things will get a lot smoother.
Do we get to kick at all in jiu-jitsu?
No.
No kicks?
No. In the streets, if someone attacks you, yes, I expect you to kick.
But there's
them.
no kicks?
No kicks.
Okay, so that makes it a little different than karate.
No punching, you know what I'm saying?
This is all pretty much wrestling.
Yeah, it's all ground fighting. But it's awesome, though. It's so classy. I consider jiu-jitsu a very classy sport. People are very respectful.
Well, compared to MMA.
Yeah, well, MMA's fun. I mean, I got a lot of, you know what I mean, students that do MMA and they do jiu-jitsu under me. And actually, I got one fighting this weekend, James Del Cid. He's fighting in Visalia, 559 fight. So, yeah, we got professional fighters at our school, like Brandon Cash. He's fought all around the world, Japan, Russia.
So some people do want the techniques of jiu-jitsu when they do other things,
Well,
right?
you got to have good jiu-jitsu and MMA, too. So a lot of these high-level MMA fighters are jiu-jitsu fighters. Why do you think the UFC started? The Gracie family. You know that's the family that started jiu-jitsu, right?
Okay.
They're the family that started it all. Like, well, it originated in Japan. Maeda taught Carlos Gracie Sr., and they're from Brazil, and they started taking lessons from him. And they brought the sport to the ground. So there's Japanese jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
And I've heard Brazilian's the most intense. Well,
that's
why is that?
Because they kind of grew up rough at street fighting. You could manipulate your arms. You could get your arms broke. You can have your heels broken, your knees, knee bars. It gets real.
So this is pretty dangerous.
Oh, it's very
The fact that you're actually on a competition level.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. I fight the top masters in the world, and these guys are like.
You don't worry about.
I don't got no more nerves no more. Like I said, I'm on 160 tournaments, and
oh my gosh.
Like God, what 160 tournaments plus in like under 12 years. Actually, my 12-year anniversary in jiu-jitsu will be in March of 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And you get paid per tournament if you win?
Oh,
Or
no,
just
you
for the
get paid in medals and stuff like that. And some shows got money prizes. Like I just fought in Newcastle, England last weekend. And I went to the roller tournament and I made it to the quarterfinals and came up short to the champion, Ellie Bra. Shout out to you. He's a nice guy. We actually trained before and after. And he's a savage, and he's a nice champion, and it was an honor to compete with him. It was so fun. So I was in Newcastle fighting out there, just having fun.
Oh my gosh, what a life. This is pretty exciting. You're
This
like a
is my-
rock star,
Yeah.
but like
I'm like if
an
you don't-
athletic rock star.
A lot of people don't know who I am, but you know, I really don't care what people think, but I love people. But
everybody knows you in that genre.
yeah. So I got friends all around the world, and now, you know, being sponsored by Rev Gear, and I went out there, and you know, they had something to do with the tournament. You know, they were helping sponsor it. Shout out to Rev Gear.
So what does Rev Gear do?
Rev Gear, they make martial arts equipment and jiu-jitsu, gis. I mean, you name it. If it has something to do with martial arts, clothing, equipment, etc., they do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're great people. You know, shout out to you guys.
So you wear all their
I
stuff
wear their
when you
stuff
go.
all the time. Yeah, they're great people, and they're one of my biggest sponsors. And shout out to all my sponsors. You know, they're great people. And but actually, I got a new school that's going to be opening up in Newcastle, England, in April.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Another Halo?
Yeah, it's going to be Halo Newcastle in England.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. Congratulations.
I'm excited that, you know, I got a new student out there. His name is Alex Wright, and he's a great guy. And he's going to represent our system.
You gotta love the accents, right?
Oh, the accents are awesome. You know it, mate. Clearly. I love the way they say clearly. I love their lingo.
You laugh at them when you're on the mat and you're about to take him down.
I love their accents. It's so awesome. It's just so cool. And I'm sure they feel the same way about us.
That's crazy. I mean, you started this here, now you're starting it there. That's
well,
really awesome.
It's just we plugged up, and you know, he's a good guy, and I'm like, yeah, let's make this happen. So, and you know, he's confident with our style, with the Tingia system and the Halo Jiu-Jitsu, you know, system. So I'm his professor now, and I'm excited. I also got another school in Lufkin, Texas. I have a black belt there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's from Fresno, California. Such a stud. Shout out to Anthony Vidal. I also have another school in Minot, North Dakota.
So you have 4 schools.
Yeah. Actually, I got Minot, North Dakota, Roger Martin. Shout out to you, buddy. Love you. Anthony Vidal, Lufkin, Texas. Now we're going to have Alex Wright in April in Newcastle, England. And then now we actually have one here, Daniel Manriquez. He has
yes, and he's been on my show.
Okay, yeah. So I do got 4. So Dan is one of my students as well, and he is our Manriquez Self-Defense Academy. So he's my only affiliate here in town.
And he's also has a military background as well.
Oh, he's a sergeant major, that dude. You know, I got so much respect for that guy.
So is that why you guys give out discounts for veterans, right?
Definitely. We give veterans discounts, first responder discounts, law enforcement discounts. I've been coaching law enforcement out here in Fresno for a long time. You know, over 200 officers.
So they do have to use the jiu-jitsu moves
Yeah,
to get into. I saw that fight at the Fresno State game, and they were all like, you know, the 3 cops were going to take down the 1 person. So that's where some jiu-jitsu moves could come in handy,
Yeah.
right?
So they kept the pressure on them. They stabilized them right. I was watching because I'm a jiu-jitsu coach. I'm like, they stabilized them. They had them good, and they were manipulating them. Yeah. So they got them good, and they didn't really have to hurt them. They just kept them where they needed them, and they got them.
So is that another reason, like, we should learn jiu-jitsu, so we can control somebody without hurting them? We can learn how to subdue them?
Absolutely. You want to be able to, you know, subdue them. You want to control them with minimal force, but just technique. Like, I love when my students come back. They're like, hey, coach, I was on the street and I had to arrest this guy. And then he moved, and I got on top of him full mount, and I just hit an arm bar on him, and he stopped. He goes, okay, stop. So I'm like, it makes me feel good that they're actually not having to beat him up. You know, like some guys deserve to get beat up, but, you know, they can use minimal force. So that's
really smart.
Yeah, so that's why I'm happy that my students come back and tell me these stories when they're working on the dangerous streets of Fresno.
Wow. And so we're really happy that your location survived the pandemic and everything. What were some of the challenges? Because I imagine that it's really hard. I mean, GB3 closed down. That I'm a trainer there, so that was definitely
I had a couple people, trainers, come to Halo, and they're like, Angel, can I rent out some spot for a little bit? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man. Midday, just kill it. You know, because we were open. They knew that I was like not putting up with it. You know, when they said, okay, let's do the 3 weeks to flatten the curve, I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. But when they try to do it again, I go, we're opening up. I made an announcement. I go, I'm not closing. You know, then we went down to the Freedom Rally in downtown Fresno here. And, the mayor of Fresno, at the time, he was locked up in the green building. We were out there, tell him to come out. We really want to open up. We deserve to because this is America,
I bet you had a lot of support there, too.
Oh, my God. Everyone had their American flags going, yes. And, we started screaming, open up. And I'm glad I was proud of that historical day here in Fresno about standing up for our rights and the small businesses. And it was just amazing. And so we did that. And then the next day, they targeted me. So they came to my gym the very next day, code enforcement. They're like, here's a ticket. I go, well, yeah, you can give me this, but guess what? I'm not closing down because I got a constitutional attorney and this is unconstitutional and the government's being tyrant and I'm not going to put up with it and I'm not going to listen.
So did they get you out of it, the constitutional attorney?
Yes. Yeah, Anthony Raimundo, thank you very much. Shout out to my constitutional attorney here in Fresno. And he got me out of my fines because it was unconstitutional and that's just the way the world turns. And I'm about that freedom.
So did a lot of your students stick with it?
Yes, a lot of my students didn't quit. Nobody actually quit. I had like 2 people quit. Then I had people signing up because they wanted to be part of the freedom movement and they want to stay healthy so they don't get sick. Because if you stay indoors and wear a mask all day, you're going to get sick.
There's a lot of a psychological component as well that I mean, so I'm really glad that your class got to survive and got to still do well and like grow and learn, be healthy during the time.
Yeah, so I did it for the health reasons and for the survival of just me being, living the pursuit of happiness in America. That's why we're all here to like live our dreams and open up a business. And that's why people come here to America and for the government to shut you down and be selfish like that when a Walmart can be open and a mom and pop store can't. When you see stuff happening like that, the government's trying to take you out. So you're like, okay, are you going to be a sheep? Are you going to sit there and listen and obey? Or are you going to be a freedom fighter and live your dream and just stay in your lane? And that's exactly what I did.
What about your other locations? How did it affect them? Because these are all different states.
They all stayed open.
That's good.
Minot, North Dakota, they're like a free, like at first it was kind of like, he was having issues, but he's like, you know what, Angel, I just stayed open, and they're more free out there. Texas, they're free, they ain't caring, you know what I mean? So they all stayed open, they started following suit, and I'm like, if you close, you're gonna close forever. And there are some gyms in Fresno, I'm not gonna say no names, that are closed forever.
I know.
And I feel so bad for them, I wish they would just try and open up again, but if they're done with it, cool, but it ain't over yet, let's get your dream going again and open your business back up and don't quit. That's what I'm about. So
if somebody wants to be like you and compete, what is the step that they should go through to compete at that level?
Well, they should practice all the time. And I believe in getting thrown to the wolves. Like if I have a student that's tough, like which I have a lot of them, because we live in a wrestling hub out here in the Valley.
Right.
They go to tournaments and they're already banging at white belts. They're out there, let's go. And I'm like, I'd love to see them out there. They're all, coach, I'm going to keep going. And I'm like, they motivate me, So I throw them to the wolves that they want to be, competitors, and that makes you better. Because when you come up short, it's actually good for you because you learn. So come up short, don't be afraid of it. Shake it off afterwards and move forward and you'll feel better about yourself. I'm about that. I'm all about the psychology of being positive and learn. Just keep learning, keep going forward. Don't ever step back. Don't beat yourself up too much. Because when you win things, you're like, oh, I won this. But then you come up short the next tournament, you're like, oh, you can't beat yourself up. You got to just leave that, just learn and be like, okay, I learned. It's all about learning. You never lose.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
No problem. It's a major honor, and thank you for having me. I'm just so happy to be here, and thank you very much.
Welcome to Everything Sparkle. Vinny, I am happy you're here today.
Thank you.
What do you have going on? Because you have a lot going on.
Well, yeah. I don't think the show's long enough for me to tell you what I have going on. But first of all, one of my businesses, I own the Santa Claus picture business at the Manchester Center, and that starts the day after Thanksgiving is the first day. And it's from 10 a.m. till 7 o'clock at night.
So what's that?
So we have pictures at the mall with Santa for families. And you go down there and take a picture of Santa, and we have like the best prices. Our pictures start at like $10. And we're also going to have the Grinch come in and do pictures during the holidays in December.
Oh, wow, the Grinch.
And I do that, and then I also have a rave business, like EDM, electric dance music, where I travel California to the raves, and I set up my booth as a vendor, and I sell all the top glow items and stuff like that from Amazing Lights.
And that's when the sexy Santa girls come out, right?
Yeah, it's a whole different.
That's a whole different Santa business.
And then,
So when's it? You have a rave coming up, though.
yes, I do. It's called Give Thanks, and it's in Sacramento at the Cal Expo. And it's a one-day event, and there's going to be 4,000 people there.
Whoa. So is that Black Friday or Saturday?
It's the day after Thanksgiving.
So it is Black Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Is it Black Friday? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same every year, Black Friday.
I just go to the rave. I don't know. I don't care what
Well,
day.
that's when your Santa thing starts. Well, because
Yeah,
that's a
but-
big deal because it's its own holiday.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a pretty good turnout. Give Thanks is a really well-known rave and midnight events that throws it. They're like really top in the rave scene in California.
That's really cool because a lot of people come from out of town for Thanksgiving. So while they're there, it's like, hey, let's go to a rave.
Oh yeah, and it's at the Cal Expo too. So it's a huge venue that they're going to have it at.
That's really cool. Okay, so what's the other business?
And then I'm also a local artist, and I design clothes online on Etsy. I have a madnessthepartyshop.com Etsy store where I have my clothing designs on there, and I design shoes and hats and shirts. I also do custom work as well.
So if somebody wants something, you could be like, hey, I want this. And you can, if you can do it, you'll say, hey, I can do this.
So if they want like custom Converse made, I could do that, or custom boots.
That's pretty cool. And then the Mint.
Okay, and the Mint, I bartend there and I'm a bouncer there. And it's a new nightclub that just opened in the Tower District. And my friend Kalen, he is the owner of it. And he is the top guy that does the top EDM events in Fresno.
Wow. Okay. So then after some of these events, people go and like party at the Mint?
Oh yeah, but he has the events during, like if he has a rave, let's say at the Rainbow.
Okay.
The Mint is still open and they're still doing events there. And he also has like comedy shows there as well. And then he does like on Tuesdays, he does, I think tonight's karaoke night. And then another night they do game night where like people play games and stuff in there.
Like trivia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I've been wanting to go to a place like that for a while. I didn't know what
it's
we
pretty
had in
fun.
town for that.
Oh yeah, well he's only been open a couple months now.
So he waited till, when did he get the place? Was it like after COVID? And then he...
It was after COVID, yeah. In fact, I let him know about the building because I seen it at the tower one time. And he went and contacted the guy. And a week later, he had a nightclub.
That is such a great story. So we got to support our local businesses. It's a bar. Do we have food or just drinks?
It's a nightclub, so it's just straight drinks.
Okay.
And it has like the best laser light shows. He has a smoke machine. He brings in all the top DJs around because, you know, he's a top EDM guy.
Right, so he
has
knows everyone.
Contacts with like the best DJs and they have a really good following. Oh, it's a blast there.
That's one of the only places we have, I guess, in town for like regular EDM, right? We don't. Do we have anything else?
I think that's probably the only place. And the dance floor is pretty big. I think it's one of the biggest dance floors in the tower.
I love how like everything's growing because I'm from LA, so like to see all this stuff, it's just like, you know.
Yeah, there's more things to do, and you know.
Fresno needed that. They
Yeah.
needed, because they have such a strong EDM scene. Like when I've been to your raves and everything, it's like, you know, everyone has a great time. And
yeah, a lot more than people realize. I mean, there's a lot of ravers and stuff in Fresno.
yeah, what I love is how safe the events are too. Because you keep. Where do we usually do it at the Grizzly Stadium? Or a lot
Usually
of your
at Grizzly
events?
Stadium, I'm doing at the Rainbow Ballroom too.
So the Rainbow Ballroom, how big is that?
It's a pretty big venue. You haven't been in there, inside there?
It's been a while. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's a pretty big venue. They actually gave me a really good spot too. Like when you first walk in and you look to the right, you can see my booth right there, and it's by the bathrooms and everything. So I'm seeing pretty good in that spot. So I really like it.
Wow. So when they bring, so they'll bring like an event there, and then you guys, so they'll bring like an artist.
So they throw events like they did a Halloween event.
Okay.
And they just bring like a top artist in, a DJ, and then like they have like some local artists that play too.
So it's pretty much what you do at Grizzly, but it's all indoors.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's really cool. How close is that to Tower, or like to the Mint?
It's not that far, maybe like about 4 miles away or something like that.
Oh, so everything still stays
And
pretty
now I
close.
sell these light up glasses that they go to the beat of music, and you can charge them with your cell phone, and they're LED glasses.
Whoa,
They're
that's
amazing.
so cool.
Yeah, and that's from Elite Wear, and that's the company that sponsors me with them. And then I also have goggles that are like kaleidoscope goggles that are kind of like diffraction. So when you wear them, the laser light shows like at a concert or a rave. You don't have to be at a rave to wear them. You could be at a concert, and the laser light shows it just like intensifies, and it makes it more like exciting.
Yeah, I went to the System of a Down concert and everyone wanted to have light up stuff. So,
Oh, really?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
wow, that's
so
cool.
that would have been great. I would have loved to have had those glasses for that event.
Oh, you would have loved it. Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so do you post constantly? Like, where can we follow you to see when there's a rave and stuff going on? Because you know whenever there's a rave in town.
Yeah, I have a Madness, a party shop, Instagram, and then I also have that Etsy store where I don't promote like the events on the Etsy store. That's more like my store, my web store, where I have all my products that I custom make. So,
yeah.
So what you're buying on Etsy is like all my original art.
And you've been on the show before and showed us all your original art that you could do, which is crazy.
Yeah, I should have brought some.
It was that. Well, you can come back because what was that elaborate house that you? It was like.
Oh yeah, it was like a tree house. I make like tree house lamps.
That was so cool.
Yeah,
and then
I make
a lot
like
of
steampunk guns. I do a lot of different.
So the Etsy store is where we can kind of go to for that.
Yeah, check out like all my new products that I have on there.
Perfect. So we'll do that. And then what about if we want to buy your rave products not at a rave? If I was going to go to a concert and I wanted to get your products.
Well,
You're gonna
just like message me on Etsy. And like I said, I'll do customized designs for you, and I can also like let you see like the products I have, like my light up gloves and light up.
Yeah, because if I knew I was going to go to that concert, but I don't know when your rave is, I'd be like, oh hey, Vinny, I want to go get like this for the concert.
Yeah, and I ship and stuff like that, and I take Venmo, and so it makes it easy to pretty much ship out to people that are
Perfect.
needed.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Vinny. And like, you'll have to come back and show us some more artwork and some of these raves. If we do want to go to the one in Sacramento, where do we get tickets?
You'll get tickets on. You have to look up Give Thanks, and it's Midnight Events. So look at Midnight Events, and then you can find the link.
And anybody going there, check out the Madness booth.
That's right.
Thanks, Vinny.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. I just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.